1, 2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, the big dick is here. Get ready. May we start?
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another Tasty Tuesdays Talk with Zebra and Geebs. I'm one of your hosts, Zebra, for the day, and I'm going to introduce my lovely co-host, as always, Miss Geebs. How we doing today?
What is going on, fam? It is a beautiful Tuesday today.
It's a beautiful day indeed. We got a full house today, so I'm just going to get right into it, and we're just going to go around the table and everyone introduce themselves. Ladies first.
Hi there, I'm Jennifer Soto, Dear Hugh, Galactic Warrior, here on Earth to expand love, compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude so those that are suffering can enjoy joy in the midst of chaos and live soul's end for life.
Wonderful, Jennifer.
Hello, this is Sharon, also known as Share the Light 333. And as my Galactic Warrior self, I am Isu, also here sharing the same message as Dear Hugh. I am a healer, meditation guide, light warrior, and way shower for humanity during this time. And I'm happy and grateful to share space with everyone here.
And she's a DJ.
Oh, and I do music. Yeah. We're multi-dimensional over here.
We got a lot of multi-talented dimensional talent. And then
I'm DJ Freddy Fresco, the official Baja Beach Fest DJ. I'm just sitting in. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you for coming in, Freddy.
Welcome, brother.
Yeah.
Well, guys, my name is Don George. As you guys know, I am the vibe generator of Good Vibe Tribe, goodvibetribeworld.com, on Instagram, Good Vibe Tribe World. And this is a very special day because I'm super excited because all of this happened really quickly and last minute for some of us. For Freddy, it was last minute. We were connected somehow yesterday, and me and Jennifer were connected a week ago. The universe was kind enough to gift her to me and me to her. And I asked her this morning if she had anything to do and if she could be here. I just felt the call that these were the individuals that needed to be in this room. So I'm super excited to discuss the different things that we have to talk about. You know, we'll be talking about music. We'll be talking about house music. We'll be talking about techno music. We'll be talking about Latino music. We'll be also speaking with some artists that we have secured via Good Vibe Tribe Artists Management, and they are in Costa Rica and in Colombia. And we'll be also talking about healing, because we don't just do music events, and we've always included conscious activities in our events, but now it's kind of on another level because now we also incorporate medicine. So we incorporate plant medicine, channeling, and ancestral channeling, and energy healing.
So let's start off with that, because when we first met, when we had you in the past on the show, you were just doing music.
Right.
And throughout the last couple of years, I call it your spiritual sabbatical, and you've evolved, and now you have the healing work that you mentioned. So let's just start with that. And
well, basically, in a nutshell, as you know, we've spoken before. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I went to high school in Queens. I did 2 years of college, and then once I turned 19, I went to the Air Force. So I was in the Air Force for about 6 years. Was a crew chief on F-16s, then became an air traffic controller, finished my degree there, and then I moved out to California, got hired as an air traffic controller out here, and I got to retire early a couple of years ago. Thank God. And so since my retirement, it's been great because I've had this new awakening into my purpose, because I've always been involved with music. I've always been around about getting people together, and I've always had that gift. I've also grew up around spirituality and certain spiritual practices in my parents' home. And I've always been tapped in. So when I was younger, I would always see spirits in the house. I would always have certain messages come through, but I didn't quite understand them. I used to get my ass beat by my aunt because she'd be like, "Why are you running through the living room?" And eventually one day I told her, I said, "Because I see that man." And still to this day, she laughs about it, because she was always told in her readings that I had access into certain information, right? So as I got older, I kind of pushed that to the wayside. And I didn't really focus a lot on my meditation anymore because I used to meditate a lot with my dad. And basically, as I started to use psychedelics is where things kind of opened up. When I got into using mushrooms, when I got into using LSD is when I started to realize I had these like eternal gifts, you know? That's when I started to recognize energy, frequency, and vibration, you know? But we're not even there on the love part yet. So at this point, as I'm using psychedelics, I'm noticing I have the ability to not just like affect the energy around me, but to manipulate energy in others. And we all go through phases in our lives, and our ego always seems to find a way to take over and step in. So as I was younger, I say younger because I'm 40 now, I just turned 40 this year. So in my mid 30s, when I was like partying hard and doing festivals and doing events, I would use my abilities for selfish reasons. You know, I was aware of my ability to manipulate people into doing the things that I wanted to do. And I would use my abilities for selfish reasons, you know? But as time went on and I started to step into the existence of living in love, everything changed. So once I started to use my abilities to be of service to humanity and to of service to everyone that I come in contact with, my powers and my abilities just incrementally increased, you know? And what we're doing here today, this was something that was put in motion just only 3 weeks ago. And as you know about the stories, like everything just happened warp speed. And the one thing that I've learned coming up to this is that everyone that has been placed into my life, even from 10 years back, and if it wasn't for the person I met 10 years ago, Freddy wouldn't be sitting here right now. But all the people that I've met up until this point it was predestined for them to be in that path, because now everything is coming full circle as to their purpose. And we're in a time of life where everyone is going through their own spiritual awakening, especially, because of COVID. We can't depend on the government for shit, so we have to, come up with our own healing and our own search. And even for me, I consider myself a super confident person, very motivated, very gung-ho. And I never thought in a million years I would go through depression. But when COVID hit last year, and I had nothing to do because I was home, because I was retired, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I didn't feel like doing music. I didn't DJ for a whole year. I never knew that I was gonna go back into DJing, because I said, I'm done. I was ready to sell the tables. I was ready to give up the Good Vibe Tribe brand and say bye. But what I noticed was, basically what happened is I got introduced into plant medicine. So an organization called Mycorrhiza, ran by Miguel Indiglo. He's another DJ, and he and I came into existence together many years ago when he was a volunteer at my desert festival, same desert festival that you applied to DJ at, right? And he wanted to get into DJing, and his skills weren't quite up to par of what we needed, but I always watched him and observed him, and I would go to his gigs and observe it. And then one day I really liked his set and I booked him for something, and then it all came full circle because he started throwing his own events, and at their warehouse events, you do medicine and then you turn up, right? So there's a whole 2 hours where they give you free shamanic medicine, rape or hape. They do sananga, which are energetic clearing drops. And you get to prepare your vessel to go and turn up and dance and share your love and share your heart with other people. And so I went to this event and I did hape for the first time. And it completely woke me up and grounded me and cleared energy. And I realized that I was accessing something else. I was accessing something completely different. I didn't know what to think of it, but I just knew that I wanted everybody else to experience this, the same way how I wanted everyone to experience house and techno when I first went to a Desert Hearts and tripped balls in the middle of the desert of 25-degree weather on acid, But this was a completely different experience because this was actually tapping into my consciousness, right? And so after that, I started to work with medicine. I worked with the rape, and I say work with it as in when I do my meditations, I serve myself the hape, which is a shamanic snuff from the Amazon jungle that's herbal based in tobacco. But when I say tobacco, we work with tobacco because the tobacco is connected to the ancestral realm. Everything in life holds, everything in life holds energy. all the plants, the grass does, and they hold consciousness. So when we work with tobacco, it's not like the Newport cigarettes. We're talking about sacred tobacco that's untouched, unlike it is here in this country. And the way the rapé is made, they take the sacred tobacco, they mix it with different herbs and different trees and different ashes, and each rapé has a different property that's supposed to assist you in a different way, depending if you need energy clearing, depending, if you're going through something tough and you need to move some energy a certain way, depending if you need to get in touch with the divine feminine a little bit more or the divine masculine. And a lot of times the rapé is gathered by members of these tribes while they're under the influence of ayahuasca. And for those of you that don't know what ayahuasca is a shamanic brew that you drink that has DMT in it, which is dimethyltryptamine. Dimethyltryptamine is how we dream. It's released in our brain when we're born. It's released in our brain once we're dead. It's released in our brain every single day. But yet the government, prevents us from smoking it, But it's something that's in our body already. So when you take ayahuasca, you drink the brew, you end up purging, and you go through a 4 to 5 hour experience, which you are connecting into Pachamama, you're connecting into the divine feminine. And these medicines and these plants and these animals were placed on this earth to teach us, right? And for anyone that's even doubting any of this of what I'm saying, I say, come sit with me for an hour, because there's no more believing. You go from a believer to being a knower real fast. And when you start working with these shamanic medicines, they work with things internally in you. They work with things in your past life. They work with childhood traumas. When I worked with Bufo, which is 5-MeO DMT, which is taken from the alpha Aberius toad out in the Sonora Desert. So it's like DMT, but 10 times more powerful. You basically get access into God space. You understand what love is. Never really understood what love was until I did Bufo, okay? And when I did Bufo, I got to unravel through childhood traumas of mommy abandonment issues that I never knew that I had. Never knew existed, but it came out. And it wasn't until that point that I was actually able to connect to feminine energy and actually enjoy and not be annoyed by certain females that were around me and such, right? And I never understood it had something to do with my past, So now it's like I have a flood of female friends that are always around me, and they used to annoy me before. But now I'm welcoming to it, and I love their energy, and I love the flow and the exchange. And so the medicine has helped me greatly, and I recognize that my purpose and my job is to share it with everybody else. Because our job as healers is to expand consciousness in others and to help wake everybody up. And once you tap the next person on the shoulder and they recognize their divine purpose, they recognize that their purpose here on earth is to manipulate energy and to actually wake up the next person. And at some point, all of humanity is going to be flowing and will be flowing in love. I didn't recognize what love was until I did Bufo. So when we say love, we're not saying I love you and you love me. We're talking about love as an infinite frequency and a vibration. It is God, right? So God lives within all of us. It's not a magical man in the sky. So it's a frequency, it's an energy, it's a vibration. And once we get to live in love, we have access into unlimited potential. We are unlimited, and we are infinite beings, light beings in this body going through the human experience. And we're just an encapsulated vessel called the body, right? And once you do these medicines, you recognize that we don't just, die. We go over there. And over there is absolutely beautiful. Over there is where our ancestors are. Over there is where everything is put in motion to happen. It is where all the abundance is. It is where all the love is. And once you get to embody that and live in love, and you're pushing that out and rating that out, people have no choice but to receive. I don't care if people are shady to you. I mean, I've gone through a lot of stuff as far as dealing with people and friends, especially in the business world. But one of the things that I have to meditate a lot about, because I'm a very type A, a personality, not gonna be pretty aggressive, right? But what I've learned is when people do you dirty, you just love them more. you have to love them more. Because as long as you amplify that love, you keep pushing it out, they have no choice but to receive, you know? And that's the message. So the message that I have today is live in love.
Mm-hmm. So someone from the outside, a non-believer, what you preach right now makes a lot of sense. So why does someone need to do one of these healing medicines to get to that point versus going to someone that preaches it and taking that knowledge and absorbing it?
Here's the deal. I recently learned that you don't have to. Okay. Thanks to Jennifer over there. So the way I met Jennifer was I was taking my homegirl's car down to an Acura dealer in Cerritos, which I don't go to because I live in Long Beach. And there was nothing else around to eat but Panera Bread. And prior to that, I'd done a ceremony in Palmdale and I had a lot of energetic things just flowing for me. And so I dropped the car off. I walked. I went to the Panera Bread. I struggled with whether I was going to sit inside or outside. I sat down outside and I looked to my right. And Jennifer's sitting there with some headphones and a laptop, and she says, "Trust your ancestral guides." I was like, what? So she was on a Zoom reading, and she had these psychic cards next to her, and right away, I just knew that I was sent there to meet her. So I ate my food, I was a little nosy with what she was doing, and I said to her, I said, "Hey, my name's Don George, you don't know me, but I'm very sure I was sent here to meet you." We exchanged information. We talked on the phone for an hour. Everything that she had to say resonated with me. Turns out she's a master Akashic Records reader. And I'd been looking for one. But there's so many woo-woo people out here that you don't know who is who and who is what and who's gonna actually be able to access those records. And for those that don't know what the Akashic Records is, basically the Akashic Records exists in the 8th dimension in the universe. And I say this with complete confidence because she took me in and I felt it and I know that it flows and it's real. And anyone that doesn't can do a session with her, okay? And you will be a knower. So basically, the Akashic Records, everything in the universe is contained in the Akashic Records. Your past lives, your future lives, all the information of the universe at every timeline is there locked safe. And there's certain individuals that are gifted with abilities to access that information. Jennifer here is one of them. And so, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical, but I was not so skeptical because I knew I was sent there to meet her, guaranteed. So it's become a point where I no longer have to interpret the messages that I'm sent. The messages that I'm being sent come from my ancestors and they come from higher dimensional beings. And I say higher dimensional beings because I have met with these beings. I have proved to other people in 30 minutes who these beings are, and they have met and communicated with them as well.
Is that what the medicine does then? Does that get you there?
It gets me there, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I met Jennifer, she came to my place downtown Long Beach and we met there. We did the ceremony at the island right there by the aquarium.
What ceremony?
She did the Akashic Records reading.
Okay.
No medicine required. So as we're walking and she's telling me, look, I'm gonna show you that you can access these realms and these dimensional realms absent medicine. And of course, inside my head, I'm like rolling my eyes. Because I'm like, I've been working with this for like over a year. I know what this stuff does, right? And I also, you know, I'm a very like visual person. Like I like to see, you know? And so like when you do DMT and you access those realms and you're able to channel ancestral spirits and do cleanses and stuff, like I'm actually feeling it and I'm in it. And the person that I'm with, as you guys know, you're there too, right? And so I didn't understand what she meant, but we sat down, we went through our breath work, and when she said, "The Akashic Records are now open," I felt this flood of energy come down, and I felt everything that she was initiating. And I was just absolutely taken back. And not that I'm gonna stop doing medicine, because medicine is a tool. These medicines are, in my opinion, ancient technologies that we are now using, right? So the DMT is a technology to access. The different types of DMT, 5-MeO DMT versus NN-DMT, it's a technology to access and raise our vibration and to help us unravel through traumas in our lives, in our past lives, right? To allow us to exist here in love. This is the point, to live in love. And after our session, I was absolutely blown away. And I got messages that I was supposed to be in Amsterdam. This is all this week. And so I explained to her that I got this message that I needed to be in Amsterdam, didn't know why, but I was buying a ticket. And she said, "Well, this sounds like a fly-by-night operation. You should probably just like sit with it and figure out like why," right? So the day that I met her, I went into the mall And I went into a Bath and Body Works that I'd never been into. And this girl comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, you're Don George, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, I know you through so-and-so." So we met and she helped me out with my stuff. I went to the counter and they gave me this purple bag that said, "Elevate your mind." And it had a triangle on it. Didn't think anything of it. So the bag is sitting at home. And the night that I was on the computer trying to plot out this trip to Europe, because Europe has Eurorails, which are amazing. Like, you don't even need to fly. You hop on the Eurail and you can go country to country. Amsterdam to Paris, 3 hours. London to Amsterdam, 4 hours. Amsterdam to Berlin, 6 hours. I was like, show me there. Even if there's nothing there waiting for me spiritually, I'm about to turn up and have a good time. So I'm sitting there trying to plan this route, and I look at the train route, and there sits this triangle. And so with me coming back and doing Good Vibe Tribe as an artist manager, and also getting things jump started this year with DJing and my DJ crew, I wanted to start the Good Vibe Tribe Unity Tour. So when I talk about the Unity Tour, it is about the Unity dimension, which is the first dimension of space in the universe. And in the first dimension, everything is it's basically singularity. So everything is connected, divinely connected to source. When I say source, I'm speaking of God, right? So we are our God selves because we are connected into that frequency, right? So the name of the Unity Tour is Unity. And as I'm sitting there looking at this routing from London to Paris to Brussels to Amsterdam to Berlin and to Frankfurt, in the middle, there is a triangle. And I said, holy shit, the Unity Triangle. This has to do with the tour. I'm supposed to go and do healing and music in all these places and take my artists with me. This is what I'm supposed to do. And once again, there's no more questioning. There's no more, I'm not sure if this is what I gotta do. No, I know this is what I gotta do. My guides told me to go, so I'm going, right? So I bought a ticket to Berlin, and this all happened this week. This morning I bought my ticket to Berlin, and the other day I called Jennifer and I said, I now know why I'm supposed to be there. So as Jennifer has taught me, we're supposed to speak in terms of affirmations, right? So we don't say I think or I want to, like I am doing this, right? Another thing that she taught me was, when you say I love someone, is like, I love you. You don't say I love you, but like I love you, but you get on my nerves. No, because we're supposed to love unconditionally. So it's I love you and you get on my nerves sometimes, but let's work on that shit, right? So when I talked to Jennifer, I said, can you look at these points in the map and tell me if they align with some sort of constellation? Because I'm looking for an explanation on this, right? And she said, I'll do you one better. I'll pull over my car and I'll hop into the Akashic Records for the Eurorail route and I'll tell you what the deal is. She came back with this whole history lesson and also told me why I'm supposed to do it, and which I sent you the phone call. And she also told me that basically the routing of that map is an overlay of what I'm supposed to do here in the United States and in South America. So if I take that map, the points in that map, I overlay it on the Unity Tour here. Those are the cities that I should be hitting to do the tour. And the tour is not just music and turning up and getting fucked up. So the tour has to do with consciousness and healing, right? And everywhere that I go, no matter if I get on an airplane, no matter where I go, I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. I'm waiting to see who is getting sent to me today, right? Because every day there's something new that someone is getting sent to me, and I have a purpose to be in someone's life. And a lot of times it has to do with healing. And like I said, I don't have to guess it anymore. The messages are always very clear. So my plan is to go to Berlin, and I don't even know where I'm staying yet, or what clubs I'm going to, or what artists I'm going to meet. But I guarantee you, by the time the next time we talk, or you're gonna get my text message, you're gonna say, you're not gonna believe who I met, right? Mm-hmm. So there's gonna be people there that I'm gonna meet for the purpose of healing. I'll be taking my medicine with me. There's gonna be people there that will be a conduit to music artists. There'll be people there that'll be conduit to venues. Very easy to lock in venues. So everywhere I travel, I lock in venues. I just came from Panama, I just came from Colombia, I just came from the Dominican Republic. And Freddy, you're Dominican, right? You're not? What are you?
I'm Mexican.
You're Mexican. I don't know why I thought you were Dominican. Okay. I thought I peeped the Dominican flag there. So anyway, I had this immense connection to the Dominican Republic, and I've been trying to figure it out why. And so many people have been been sent to me that have something to do with the Dominican Republic. So that's where I'm at right now. We're doing the Good Vibe Tribe Unity Tour. The way I met, just to go around the room real quick, I told you the story how I met Jennifer. The way I met Sharon was she's a DJ. She applied to DJ at my event many years ago. She is not the angelic person that you see here today. But back then, she was a partier. She was like DJing, trap and dubstep, which wasn't our sound because it was very house and techno. So I kind of told her like, yeah, your sound doesn't align. Well, years later, she got into doing art. And I was really drawn into her art. And so I invited her to come to one of our warehouse events. And that worked out extremely well. And then I invited her to get back into DJing, and she DJ'd at one of our brunches. And this is what I mean. Like a lot of times in the DJ world, as you know, it's very closed off, right? So it's very closed off in like who you know and all the rest of that, right? But I don't like to operate that way. Once again, I like to open the doors to love, right? So if I have a platform that I can offer you to assist you, that we can assist each other, that's wonderful. But I think where it gets messed up is people in their mind, they think about money and fame, right? And when you do things from a place of love, all the doors open up to you. When you do things from a place of selfishness or a place of like, I need to get paid, you ain't getting paid out here in LA. Everybody's a DJ, right? So you have to get lucky to get placed somewhere, right? Or you have to create a collective, which is why I created a collective, because I was like, I'm not gonna have anybody tell me when I can play and where I can play and all this. I'm gonna create my own crew, my own group, and we're gonna do this the way we wanna do it, right? And it costs money. It costs money to do it that way, but I wouldn't trade this in for anything because over the years I've learned so much. I've learned how to like deal with so many, different people, and even the people like. I'm very strict in the way that I run things because I like to do things correctly, right? And there's certain people in the scene like. They don't want to really mess with me, but they wish they could, but they can't because they don't understand like how to operate properly. And they know like I call everybody out on everything. You know what I'm saying? And I like to get things done properly. And it's just been a beautiful journey that way. So then Sharon became heavy into meditation. She started channeling light language. I started taking her workshops. And then I invited her to come to my first healing event, which was on the 26th of August, which we had some spiritual guides come in and some guardians come in to serve gambo. Gambo is a tree frog medicine that basically it gets burned onto your skin. The portals get opened up and they put the venom on top, and the venom goes in and it reads your DNA and it does its work, and you end up throwing up. It's like 15 minutes of immense discomfort that you feel incredible after and energized and just ready and connected. And then we did Bufo, which is the 5-MeO DMT, and Sharon, which her partner Tyler is outside, but they also do CE5, which is a contact tour experience where CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And basically, they show you that we have the ability to connect with extraterrestrial beings, and we are not here alone. And I'll let her talk more about that later. I want to steal her shine. And then let me talk about Freddy real quick and why he's here. So my best friend, Marco Carbajal, he has a barbershop out in San Bernardino. Shout out to Lavish Barber Lounge in San Bernardino. If any of you guys need a haircut, look up Lavish Barber Lounge. If you mention Good Vibe Tribe, you'll get $5 off, but you gotta follow both our Instagrams, Lavish Barber Lounge.
You gotta drop it.
And Good Vibe Tribe World, baby, let's go. So any of you guys going to the Nas Center, go get your cut, $5 off, you mentioned Good Vibe Tribe. So Marco and I, over the years, I met Marco when he was about 20 years old, turning 21, and I kind of took him under my wing. We traveled together. We went to a lot of festivals together, and basically like showed him the ropes of life. I'm very proud of him because he's done a lot for himself for a kid that used to smoke weed every day and just like not know what he was doing, right? And now he owns a barbershop and he owns a bar in Mexico, and he's doing his thing, and he just got married. So I'm very proud of him. So we decided to have a bro day this past Sunday. I hadn't seen him in maybe 6-7 months. He came through. I also had a healing appointment later that day. And I started telling him about my issues with artists because I just got into artist management. And I was trying to figure out the best, figure out the roads, because all before I was managing DJs for years, right? But managing artists is a little different, right? And the type of artist that I'm trying to manage is all Latin artists. So Latin artists that do merengue, reggaeton, cumbia, stuff like that, right? And I explained to him my issues, and the issues that I was having was, first of all, I have this super fire artist. I'm not even gonna give him a plug right now because everything fell apart. But it fell apart because the people on his team, which we were all homies, don't mix business and pleasure, they were not interested in signing a contract. They were not interested in operating properly and legally, right? But yet I'm supposed to go ahead and get this kid logos and websites and start giving you the international resources to venues and everything else. I don't think so. Because what's gonna happen? They're gonna develop that artist, somebody else is gonna come around with more money and they're out, right? So when you put time into an artist, it has to be a two-way street. It has to be a two-way commitment. And once again, once you do things out of love, everything else is gonna flow in place. When you're doing things out of money, you're broke. You ain't got money anyway. Nobody else is offering you any money. But I'm offering you connections. I'm offering you my time, right? And I'm offering you something that could blossom, but you have to be able to trust the process. And a lot of people are too quick and they don't want to trust the process.
Well, how come, you can preach love, but if someone's broke, you see it from both sides, don't you?
Well, correct. But if you don't have any other option, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing, right? Mm-hmm. And you're just wasting somebody else's time, right? But what it is, there's a lot of people on their team, they have other people in their ear, right? And everyone has a different motivation. Some people, their motivation is money. Other people that are doing it out of love. And then you have other people that are just being selfish and along for the ride, right? And other people that are just there observing and want to stand backstage when you blow up, but they didn't put any work into it, right? So it was that kind of thing. Anyway, moving right along, that situation didn't work out. And I was telling Marco about it. And I said that I was being called to book certain reggaeton artists. In particular, if you're listening, Omega Fuerte out of Dominican Republic, we want you. We want him. So if you take that, and then we were having the conversation, and he goes, I'm really good friends with Freddy Fresco. And I was like, who's Freddy Fresco? And he goes, he's the host of Baja Fest. And I know about Baja Fest. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I'll call him right now. So then he called you, and we had that brief talk. And you're probably like, who's this weirdo on the phone, talking about energy and shit? And but basically, we connected briefly. And after I heard his story of how he got the gig for Baja, I just knew energetically this was all connected, especially through my boy Marco, because me and my boy Marco are extremely connected. We've done psychedelics together. We have traveled to other realms together that we can't even explain to other people because they'll think we're crazy. But the way all the energy aligns. And then yesterday, I had Marco hit him up and say, hey, can you invite him to this? I felt a calling like he was supposed to be involved in this, especially the way everything just lined up. And so it was a little difficult for him, to get here, but he hit me up and he goes, look, I could probably be there by 1:30. And I was like, let's go. Let's make this happen. Let's do it. Because I feel like he is supposed to be part of this Unity tour. And I've never even had this conversation with him. It's the first time we're talking about it. I feel like he's supposed to be part of the Unity Tour. I feel like he's supposed to be part of the shift in the consciousness of other people and other artists. And this is why he's here. And I'm just like, I'm feeling the flow. Like I'm getting chills down my spine right now.
We're in here, since Dawn was talking about some of the medicines and healing medicines, and we discussed talking to you wouldn't need those medicines. So I would like to delve deeper into that. And
but let me just say this. So when I told you about what I wanted to come on the show and talk about, mm-hmm. For a couple of, I think for about a month we were chatting, and I was telling you, you need to come and do this, and you were like a little timid about it. I said, I tell you what. Oh, don't lie.
No,
don't lie.
No, I've always wanted to do it.
So I said, I tell you guys what. I will give you guys your own personal healing ceremony before this show, so you know exactly what we're talking about, and you know I'm not full of shit, and you will be able to access those dimensional realms just like I did. Mm-hmm. Okay, next.
All right.
Sometimes it's the simplest things that work the most. Mm-hmm. And as humans, we complicate things. And as Don said, our whole goal here is my highest good is to introduce people to the God inside them. And that's what we're here to do, is just recognize that we are a part of God. And when my culture, my American culture, raised in a Christian home, says that, we are made in the image of God, human beings will attach that to a human God, a human-like God. We've given our God human-like traits, anger, jealousy, things of such, white hair, walking with a cane. And in the realm of energy, which is all, in the beginning there was vibration. Vibration created energy, which then created light, which is information. And that essentially is the Big Bang. So when we look at ourselves and we see ourselves only as human, we are trapped by all of the fallible part of the human, the emotions, the philosophy, the cultures, which vary across the board. But when we get into our indigenous cultures, who did not give up their beliefs because they were not politically correct, or governments, they held on to the rituals and to the medicines, and everything that we need, medicine and food-wise, comes from Gaia naturally. There's nothing we have to do. And when you are able to introduce people to the peace of God inside them, you've healed them, because now they have the ability to call in the tools, medicine, energy work, vibration, meditation, chanting, every aspect of energy and vibration we can use as individuals to heal ourselves. What are we healing from? Are we healing? People say, okay, I want to get rid of my toe fungus. I'm going to go to a healer. Well, maybe that fungus is sprouting from fear. And where's that fear coming from? And I learned to read the Akashic Records from Master at the Akashic Academy, Emily Harrison. There's my plug for Em.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And what I learned in the Akash is that I have everything I need inside me. It's all there. I just have to rediscover it. Nothing went away. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm rediscovering the wheel that's inside of me. And when you open your mind to all that is possible, all is possible. But we are trapped in a human form, and we have been enculturated in cultures that don't love energy, and they don't see. They want to control us. They want to control us by pointing out that we don't have abundance. And in the energy realm, and when you learn to live in love and compassion, you can't have compassion without love, and you can't have love without compassion. Those are the routes that you find forgiveness and gratitude. And when you can be grateful for the people who you need to forgive, because they've shown up in this manifestation as an individual who's giving you the opportunity to get past hate and anger and jealousy and envy. And I say, thank you for showing up and for doing that. That's the absolute epitome of love and gratitude. And compassion means I look at you and I say, man, you are all screwed up, but I love you. That's compassion. And forgiveness is saying, I know what you did and I'm letting it go. And it also means you give up the right to mention it again. And as human beings, that's hard for us to not mention again. And when you live in love with yourself, you find that your pride is powered by gratitude, not by ego. And when you let go of your ego and you learn to balance it, because your ego is important. It's your ego that says, eat. It's your ego that says, don't do that. It's your ego. When you balance your ego with your love and compassion, there's nothing that's going to stop you. As Don here says, you call it, you name it, you claim it. And I have found that in my life, when I was able to name it and claim it, and I met my demon in Mount Shasta, and I neutralized it, I faced it, and I got rid of lifelong shame. For 50 years, I lived in shame and reacted in shame, without energy, without love, without compassion, just a reactionary, and fell into addiction. And addiction is chemical. It is drama. It is people. It is love. It is sex. It is rock and roll. People get addicted to addiction. And so my avenue is, let's get people released and healed of their ancestral karma. You find yourself doing things you don't know why. Why did I do that? Why do I keep doing that? It could be generations back that's feeding into your energy, that's calling you to that karma. You can neutralize your karma. You can release yourself from the old addictions. You can create a life that you never even believed in. There's a catchphrase, and I'm not into pop culture, so I speak a completely different language than everybody in this room, but I have an audience, and that's okay. When you can identify what your demon is and face it in love and compassion and forgive it and be grateful for it, there's no stopping you. And you elevate yourself to the other dimensions. And then that's where you call in the light, which is information, so you can understand, what do you need? When you come to me for a reading and I tell you what's coming through for you, and I enlighten you in the realm, if you will, it's up to you to do something with it. So when a father comes in and says, look at me with compassion, am I talking about your father genetically, your father adoptively, your father spiritually, who is that? Only you will know that. And that's the beautiful essence of the Akashic Records. Everybody has a different, I could say the same thing to you and it's different for you. But the guides come in and they tell me what's going on and I interpret it for you. And most of the interpretation is just making it verbally relevant, not a matter of what is he saying and what is he not saying. It comes straight across. And when we accept those messages and we see ourselves as flawed individuals who are still beautiful images of God, we can forgive ourselves. And that is the first step. Love, compassion, gratitude, hope. All of the positive, high vibrating emotions are the greatest gifts we can give to ourselves first. If we cannot give them to ourselves first, we can't possibly share them with other people.
Amen.
And my husband used to say that you look in the mirror every day and you love you like who you see and you love who you see, you've got it made. And I would look and I would look and I didn't see anything. What I saw, I didn't like. And it wasn't until I was able to face the demons, neutralize the energy by facing them with love and with compassion and with gratitude. I walked away from that a new person and now I am free. And I've developed a program. It's the Freedom Program on Soul Zen for Life. So people can find Zen, which is deep, eternal peace in their soul for life. And then we can live with joy in the midst of chaos, because chaos, most people think chaos is destruction. Chaos is just change. Chaos was the form and order of the world, the primordial world, when it was all vapor and everything. That was chaos. And look where we are now. So when we take our chaos and we neutralize it with joy, we're able to walk forward into the valley and come out on the other side and then reach across that valley and help people find their own way across. And that's what my goal is. That's what my whole passion is helping people find joy in the midst of chaos, no matter what others are saying about you. They don't define me. You walk away from the definition other people give you, you find freedom in defining yourself, and then you are truly limitless. So no matter what people say about me or think about me, it doesn't matter because I can transmute that into love. And that's my goal.
How did you do that by yourself, though? Since now you're helping other people see it.
In the short story is I was like guiding a tour in South America. My husband and I live in Quito, Ecuador, and we took 7 friends down there on a tour, and I was the guide. And on the third day, everybody went out to a beautiful overlook. The view, we were on our way to a train trip. The view was beautiful. The clouds were rolling in off the Pacific. The sky was clear. It was gorgeous. So I said, you guys go out and take pictures. I'm staying here because I don't want to trip. A lot of rocks, and I'm not crazy about heights. The other dimensions, yes, but heights on Earth, no. And so they all went out. And at the end, they said, come on out, Jen. We got to take a picture together. And I said, no, come on, let's go. So they got me out there. I walked on the rocks. I went backwards to take a picture with my dear friends and relatives in this group. And then right after the picture, I said, okay, let's go to the van. We've got a train to catch. Be careful, there are rocks. I took one step and completely tore tendons in my right ankle. So from day 3 to day 21, I was hobbled with a cane and a brace. And by the end of the trip, we went through Quito, Guayaquil. We went to the Galapagos Islands. We came back, went to the beach in Puerto Lopez. I actually had my very first shamanic cleansing, unbeknownst to me what was happening there, and it was fantastic. And then back to Quito, and then 5 of us went on to the Amazon in the Coca region. And by the time we reached the Amazon, I was up to my eyeballs in exhaustion. I had several, possibly 60 more pounds on me at the time. And I was walking through mud in the middle of the night, trying to get to the place that things didn't work out well. So we were walking through the mud, and I was thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing here? Fat white woman in the Amazon, I have no business here. And I was mad. We got to the resort and had our glass of wine, thank goodness, and dinner. Got to my bungalow, my husband and I, and as I was lumping up the stairs, there was a dead yellow leaf on the porch. And I was like, I wanted to kick it off, but I was off balance. So I said, I'll get you in the morning. But I'd already decided I was going to stay in my cabana. I wasn't going anywhere. I was tired of hobbling. I was tired of participating and leading, and I was just going to stay there. 5 o'clock in the morning, my higher power said, knock, knock, knock. And I got up and said, I'm doing this. I lumped down the stairs, and there was that yellow leaf. And I was like, damn it, I'll come back for you. And off I went. And that's where I found myself. And I went up 1,500 steps into the canopy and saw 2 million square miles of Amazon. And it was beautiful. And I realized had I stayed in bed, I would have never had this opportunity. So I couldn't wait to get back to our cabana so I could wake my husband up because he didn't make the trip. And to tell him.
This was all with your injury.
This is all with my injury. It took me a while to get up their stairs, but I did it. Came back, went to the cabana, and as I was walking up the stairs, I looked at that leaf, and it was a dead yellow Amazonian butterfly. And the Amazonian butterfly, number one, is rare but plentiful. And I looked at it and instantaneously realized that I had been spending my whole life looking down at the ground, trying to avoid the pitfalls, trying to navigate my history, trying to figure it all out, when really I should have been looking up into the universe for the energy to get through my life. But I didn't know that. So I picked up my Amazonian butterfly and brought it home with me. I violated all international rules. You can cut that later. But I brought the butterfly home and I was showing my oldest grandson, Vale, and I was telling them the story because this was amazing to me. I recorded 45 minutes of the beginning of my book on the boat going back, a speed canoe going back to Coca to fly out. And it was downloaded. But when I showed Vale the butterfly, he said, "Grandma, that's a moth." And I was like, "Oh, shit, it's a moth. Oh, my metamorphosis, the symbol of metamorphosis is a butterfly, it's a moth." And then instantaneously, my guide said, "You can find beauty in anything." And that was my awakening. That was the moment that I was like, I now need to pay attention. And things from there, as you know, they fall into place. You fall into the right people, you meet the right everything. And it was a forward and backward. I still had to battle my ego. I had to battle my humanness. I had to overcome my mistakes, my errors. I had to redefine myself. I had to look at everything differently. And just when I thought I was at the peak, at the top of everything, I crashed and burned with my family, unfortunately. And we became separated. And it was my chaos. And through that chaos, painful, agony, loss, I found beauty, I found joy. And in that joy and the chaos, I'm able to stand up and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm called to be. And by utilizing that chaos to see clearly, I now know that there's an end, there's an outcome, and all of those involved will be blessed beyond measure. And by stepping back from my family, now I take on a whole new family of people that are new. And everybody here that's been brought into my life in Shasta. Recently, I was with a group on a retreat for Lionsgate just this year. And when I met my demon and I vanquished my demon, I was aided by a few women who at first I was like, not my style. But these are the women that held me as I bubble snot cried on their shoulders as I vanquished that fear and that shame. And I'm now sitting here with pop culture people who speak a language I'm still learning and telling me to do this with my social media. I'm like, what are you talking about? But what happens is universal energy brings the people to you that you need and that need you. And Isu and I here go back galactic eons and have stories that we'll recollect and tell others and share. And it's just wonderful to connect with people. And when I saw Don the first time, I was attracted to his shoulder because he had had cupping. And his evidence of cupping is a holistic medicine, alternative medicine, and it works. And I was thinking, I should ask that guy about cupping because I'd like my husband to have some physical healing. His healing is going to start spiritually also. But I thought, not now, because I have this meeting I'm going on to, and we all know what happened then. He came by and showed me his cupping and talked for a moment, and here we sit now. Less than a week later.
Less than a week later.
Less than a week later.
That's why I told you when all these messages are coming down, like everything is moving at warp speed, and it's like I got to keep up. It's like keep up. The train's leaving. Get on, or you're gonna miss it. You know. And this is kind of where we're at right now.
Alrighty. Well, with the few minutes we have left, let's just move on to Freddy. And if you want to tell us about who you are and your DJ career and how you got aligned with everything with everyone out here. And
well, I'm a DJ. I got into DJing because I was a loser. You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't have friends. I didn't have like too many people around me. So music was kind of my escape. Starting off when I was 12, leading till now. I'm 29 now, but I took it like 100% at 15. And I just kind of figured out that I was able to like, I don't know, just change the vibe in the room. Does that make sense? Like the saying, you know, the vibes is literally something I created. I don't know, you probably hear it a lot now, but that's literally something I own. I have copyrights, trademarks for it.
Really?
Yeah, so
that's you.
Yeah, that's really me. So I'm really all about energy. I'm all about vibes. I'm all about creating a different atmosphere. So DJing to me, I feel like, in a sense, it sounds corny, but I tell all my friends like, yo, like I feel something when I'm DJing. I can feel the room. I had an experience in Palm Springs like 2 weeks ago where I was DJing, I was playing music, and then out of nowhere, like I just felt this crazy vibe where the room was just kind of like opening and closing. It was weird, but That's a story for some other time, man. But as far as DJing, Baja Beach Fest happened like out of opportunity, just being ready. I got asked to do the first 30 minutes when the festival first started, year one. I think they did about like 15,000 people. I did that. I was grateful. I was happy. There was nobody there, but it was something to put on the resume. Year two, we had about 30,000 people.
Well, 15,000 is still quite
That's
a lot of people. I mean,
You're like, that ain't nothing.
To what it is now, like 15,000 is just.
So how many people go to Baja now?
Now it's like 65,000 2 weekends in a row. So, you know, it got popular. Music just started expanding. The Latin culture just really keeps evolving. And
it's close. It's also close to the border too. So you get a lot of Americans. I'm assuming.
A lot of tourists.
Yeah, tourists.
It's a lot of tourists. You have people from Arizona, San Francisco. I had people from New York and Miami flying out.
Nice.
You have the locals from Mexico coming out. So you just get a big mixture of the whole Latin vibe. Culture, the food, the music, you know, the people, the different shades, the different flags, you know.
And what month does Baja take place? August, right?
August. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Just happened. Yeah.
So I feel like music is my way of channeling, like, you know, a good vibe.
Most definitely.
Having people forget about their problems, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you're connecting with your audience. You're the people dancing. The energy's flowing through your music and through them and the crowd. So it's exactly what everyone's talking about, I would say.
And one thing that I will speak to as far as the music goes, there's plenty of DJs that have gone into meditation and started to do the medicine. All of us agree with the same, and I'm sure you can too, because you did Bufo for your first time. But once you do the medicine, all of a sudden you're connected to the frequency in a different way. I've been DJing for over 15 years. And the way I have the ability to flow on the decks now is seamless. And I don't know where it's coming from, but it's because I'm connected into the frequency now. And I don't have to think about it anymore. Everything is just effortless, right? And all of me and the other and now when I go to certain festivals like BPM and I see people like Luciano Spin and other DJs, I'm always wondering how do they do that? Because I've been doing this for so long, but I feel like I have to think about some of the things sometimes. And I can tell, I bet you he does medicine because now I get it. Because it's like he is connected, your hands are connected to the fader and the frequency, and you can move and do things that you couldn't do before. And so I think that's something for you to look forward to.
No, I think it's also the vibration of the music, how loud you're hitting your music. I like to redline. I like to go super loud.
He just said he likes to redline.
If you ain't redlining, you ain't headlining. That's what I say.
Oh, that's a good line, yeah.
He said if you ain't ready, go ahead, say that again for the people.
If you ain't redlining, you ain't headlining. Simple as that.
That's funny. But he's right though, because I like to play loud too, because I want to feel it in the booth. You know what I'm saying? And and then when you see the engineer starting to come, you turn it down a little bit. That's not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was like that when I got here. I just turned up.
But what style of music do you love mostly?
I like all music, man.
And what kind do you play mostly?
I play everything.
Oh, you play everything?
I'll start a set. I'll drop a country song. I can mix in a hip hop, reggaeton. I can do dembow. I can do cumbia. I can do merengue. I can do banda.
So you play house?
Everything.
Oh, yes.
Everything. Afrobeat, everything. Yeah.
Bro, I need you on this tour.
Yeah. No, I see no limits in music, and I feel any song can spark a certain memory or certain emotion, so that's what I like to aim for. You just got to do it correctly.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
I do want to talk more about,
my bad.
You said
light language.
Light language. I just want to know, what is light language, just a little?
Yeah, so light language, this is fitting into everything that we've been sharing when it comes to light, energy, information, our ability to, share our love and our light. So to explain it in the simplest terms, everybody has their true soul frequency, your blueprint of what makes you you. And so just to offer an experience of what mine is like and to activate your own true soul frequency, I just want to invite our listeners to just close their eyes and take a breath with me. So just breathing in, exhaling, releasing, and allowing your eyes to stay closed and just to feel into this without letting your mind try to figure things out. Warakocho sanjirugrari shokarera zuribarus baruriki shoot that yarson didi I shinzidi arkiti jitranja. Raketajaktiraya shots zita takadanjira tatayasha. Niaisha ikot sanjiri kitiranjia kiasa chitranya. Nuro totroya shakiaisha tsanya shukutsam yuasha sakiasha. And just feeling into that. And
That was
so
very beautiful, actually.
that's a whole co-creation of our energy
Wow,
in
that's
this
beautiful.
room and my own.
Can
And
we get some more?
yeah, breathing in. Surrendering yara chotuzaraya shakain zu juzia yujutanzia ikwaza sanjigiti aijuzam yuamamia ikiasai shitsuki. And so as I share this, you may be feeling sensations within your body, and these are activations that just allow you to feel more safe in who you are and me being who I am. And this is very multidimensional, so it's speaking to a lot of different parts of you, and hopefully you're feeling this here and now and just trusting this to activate whatever needs to be activated within you without you having to know or really figure it out. So it really just allows you to step from your analytical thinking mind and really shift into the heart space, is what we've all been talking about today, and really just emanating and living and sharing our light from this space, either musically or within our healing and our messages and the different medicines that we explore with. So this is just another form of working with energy or expressing ourselves and sharing our light in this way. And I think it's really important for the world that we're living in right now to move from the head space that can be trapped in the fear, trapped in the ego, trapped in the problems, trapped in the pain and the overthinking and what's going on and what is happening, and really shifting that to your heart space where you can just feel into what is needed in the moment, in the time. And naturally, everything just fluidly unravels from that place of just coming more back home to that true soul frequency that is you, your essence, that makes you feel like your child, that makes you feel like you're in alignment with your higher self, or that channeling that we all have access to. Yeah.
I like that, actually. Thank you so much. That was very, very, it was beautiful.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, I
Thank
just
you for
kind of
letting me share.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you all. Don, do you have any final thoughts? Final words?
Okay, so my final thoughts are, I know that our mission is to expand the consciousness of humanity through music, through healing, through multiple medicines. As you can see, I have my form of medicine, Sharon has hers, and Jennifer has hers. And I'm quite sure, well, actually, we know that Freddy has his. He amplifies the frequency of love through the frequencies when he DJs, you know? And these are the ways that we can multi-dimensionally touch people's heart. And just a quick plug real quick, if you're interested in a healing ceremony, we're having our next healing ceremony November 20th in the Topanga Canyon area. It will be a whole day of healing and medicine. Just go to goodvibetribeworld.com. Also on Instagram, Good Vibe Tribe World. My personal Instagram, DonGeorge_GVT. That's Golf Victor Tango. And we're starting the Good Vibe Tribe Unity Tour. It kicked off last Saturday on the beach with Love Unity Festival, and it's going to start off again in Las Vegas, Nevada, November 13th. We're playing at Tempo Ultra Lounge. We're doing a day party there also, hopefully at 18 Bin. If you're listening, we need you to call in for that booking. And then I'm taking off to Europe next week because I'm going there with the intention of locking down some venues and meeting some more artists, because this is where the tour is going to continue. And we have artists in Colombia, Costa Rica. You know, shout out to Angie Castro. I met her as a street artist in Cartagena in March, and she's absolutely has a beautiful voice. We'll be playing some of her music. And shout out to Young Copa. Young Copa is an artist in Costa Rica, and he does reggaeton and he does rap. And shout out to Miguel Zapata. DJ Miguel Zapata is only 18 years old, and he DJs in Medellin, and he DJs in Cartagena. And we'll be doing a party in Cartagena in December. So Cheers to that.
Alrighty. Well, thank you all, and we should just reunite in a couple months or something, and then we'll pick up where we left off, and we can catch up. All right. Thank you.
I love you guys.
Right.
Much love.
Love you.
You're listening to Tastemakers
with Zebra and Geebs.